So tell us a little bit about your offer. What's going on?
This
I'm
is the
familiar, but
marriage.
for everybody else here.
Okay, yeah. So this is the marriage coaching offer. It's guys who are going to get divorced. Their wives are going to leave them, and they need to make changes. A lot of times, these guys are like, "Yeah, I want to save my marriage." But when I realized, or at least I've noticed that when they don't have that conviction on that call, it's hard to put it into them to get on them to take on it. Even if you tell them like, "Hey, whose responsibility is it? Who is this on? Whose fault
Right.
is this? It's not your fault, but it is your problem." Things like that. Yeah, that's something I've noticed. Now, this was a call where the guy just, I don't know, he seemed to be very, I don't know, meta. Like, it's like it made me feel like I was making him feel that he was on a sales call, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like it was too evident.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Let's take a look then. I'm going to start back to front just to see how things go at the end, see what little things we can kind of clean up to maybe just save the deal last minute. And then we'll work our way back from there. Sound good?
Awesome.
And I'll also schedule a call with you. Do you have like an open schedule where I can schedule the onboarding call?
Not really. No, my days are just depends on the day.
Okay, so
I
just
just
give me
had
a second.
I carved out the time for today, but it just depends on the day. So I have to get if you could just send a few times or a few days and times. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I can do that. So give me a second. I'm
And
sending
so
you the
onboarding
text
is with
message.
somebody else, you were saying?
Well, I onboard you in the sense that I give you access to the entire program, right, Alex? And then orientation. You could call that, like, another way to call that is orientation. Did you speak to Brenna or Paige?
Paige.
Paige. Okay. So ideally it would be Paige. And what she would be doing is like just having another call with you. She would share her screen with you and she'll show you like our website. She'll show you the modules, everything, like, and the way that you can do everything. It's kind of, I would call it more orientation than onboarding, but
Okay.
I do the access. Like I give you that access. Okay. So I just sent that text message over to you and I've got, how do you pronounce your last name? Sokas?
Sukis.
Sukis. Okay. So I've got asukis@yahoo.com. That
Yeah.
email?
Yeah.
Okay. So open up that email because I'm going to send you access to the program at that email. Okay. Well, go ahead. Let me know when you're done on your side and I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying from now?
Sure. We're ready to go.
Nice.
You need it all, but you got to do the payments first, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do.
Yeah. I'll take a look at it.
Okay. You'll take a look at it.
I'll take a look at it and let it settle for a second. But I don't think I see the email down here.
Oh, no, it's a text message.
Oh, text. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
Stripe. So you go ahead on your side, process that, and I get you onboarded, and we're off.
Got it. I'm gonna give a little thought before I hit the click on the spot, to be honest. So
Okay. All right. No worries at all. Just, before anything else, like, with everything that we talked about, what you've seen from Noah, heard, podcasts, everything, do you feel like this can help you? Because that's really the most important thing. Like,
I do. I just got to think about
what specifically do you feel would help you?
No, I think all of it would help. I'm just thinking about the time, like the kind of personal amount of coaching and all that you get. So I gotta give it a little thought.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about that so far. So good stuff, Andrew. It's generally a good thing to refocus people on the positive. That's fantastic. I would just maybe try to dive into it a little bit. So remember the CIT framework, right? Clarify, isolate, and then kind of tie down after that. So when he said, I'm going to give a little thought before I hit click on the spot, that's where I would just clarify. I'd say, what do you mean by give it a little thought? What's going on? I do it in a very non-confrontational way, like just genuinely curious, what do you mean by give it a little thought? He would probably expand on it a little bit, right? He'd say something like, oh, I don't know, it's just a big decision, been thinking about it for a while, or maybe it's like I always give time to think about things before I actually move forward with them, or maybe it's a lot of money, or whatever would generally start to come out there a little bit. And so you just want to keep clarifying until you get to the root of the problem, if that makes sense. Like, what is the real objection that's going on? Because thought isn't really one of them. So you did good refocusing him on the positive, but just before you do that, that's the T in tie down, right? I would just clarify first. So like, what do you mean by thought? Okay. And let's keep going, see where we go from here.
I think all of it would help. I'm just thinking about the time, like the kind of personal amount of coaching and all that you get. So I gotta give it a little thought.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think the program makes sense, which is why,
So instead of okay there, I just would say, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because like, what does that mean? The kind of personal amount of coaching, all that you get. I'm thinking about the time. Like, I have no idea what's going through his head right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, this is one of those calls.
It's good. It's a good share. Let's keep going.
Okay. And Alex, just so that I can help, is there anything that's coming up for you that gives you second thoughts, that makes you feel like, is there anything that's coming up for you that makes you think like maybe it can't work for you, or maybe it wouldn't work for you?
I think just getting him a little more personal time, one-on-one time.
What do you mean?
Okay. So if you had one-on-one time, you feel that that would be something that would help you more?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it specifically about one-on-one time that makes you feel like if you had it, that would maybe clear some things up for you? Like, I think the biggest thing for you, Andrew, right here is just clarify. It's just probe, like over and over and over and over. I want to know exactly what's going on in this guy's head. And I know we're 90 minutes in, so like brain is probably partially fried from all of that, but just keep probing into it. All right. So just role play with me real quick. Let's come
Sure.
back. Or maybe even let's not do it with me. Who wants to role play with Andrew real quick and just play this guy? Not all at once. Steven?
I can do it.
All right.
I'll be him.
Cool. So just say, you want to think about it. Give this some thought
Yeah,
before you actually click on it, I believe is the words he used.
Yeah, I just wanna give it some thought,
Okay. Yeah, great. How do you mean?
Nope.
No,
Don't-
great. Right?
No, yes, great. Just like, what do you mean? Go again.
Okay. So how do you mean think about it?
Well, yeah, just things I got to think about. The one-on-one. I saw there's one-on-one coaching, group coaching. Not exactly sure. Kind of which one would be best for me. Just got to get. I'm not going to click the button right now. Can't pay like that. I got to give it some thought.
Sure. Understood. How do you mean regarding the one-on-one coaching? What was it that's coming up for you there?
Oh, well, I'm just wondering if there's going to be enough one-on-one coaching. That's something I'm kind of concerned about.
Right. And what about that one-on-one coaching? Do you feel that you need to get clarity on that you're asking about?
Well, it's
Good.
just like,
Pause. Just a slight thing. I want to know why he wants more one-on-one coaching more than I want clarity on like what he's thinking about it. Because
Okay.
like he's saying that he's wondering about the one-on-one coaching, like if it's enough, if it's not enough. If you ask about like the amount of one-on-one coaching or like go down that route, you're gonna fall into a bit of a logistics conversation. It's like how
Right.
many one-on-one sessions do I get? How long are they? What do they do? I just kind of want to put all that to the side. I want to know why are the one-on-ones what he's focused on right now? Like, what is it that he believes is special about the one-on-ones as opposed to the other parts of the program that has him so focused on it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like if you've got a kid in front of you and like they're choosing between basketball, baseball, softball, whatever, and they're like, "Ooh, I just don't know about the basketball." It's like, well, why is it that you're thinking about basketball? Like, what is it about basketball that you're liking? And they're like, "Oh, I love that you can do this, you can do this, you can do this," and then that conversation is just a lot more manageable. So go back and just say, what is it specifically about the one-on-ones that has you just wanting to think about it a little bit extra?
Okay. All right. So, Stephen, what is it specifically about the one-on-ones that has you wanting to think about it?
well, it's just, having more time and attention, right? Like if I'm going to put this much money down and I'm going to be in a, group coaching session where some people are asking questions and I can ask questions, but I'm not actually going to get that much time. It just doesn't feel very personalized.
Okay, understood. Now, regarding, things being personalized, that you're getting all of the individualized coaching, bespoke coaching and advice, is there anything else, that's coming up for you that has you wanting to think about it? Or is it just that?
Well, it's really just that specifically because I have just always done much better working one-on-one with someone as opposed to being in a group coaching session because I have lots of questions to ask. And when I'm in a group coaching question, I don't want to take up all the time of the people that are in there, right? Because I have to be fair to them. So it's like I'm wondering if this is personalized enough for me. That's really what it is. I don't know. It's going to be customized enough for me to have like success.
Understood. Okay, I get what you're saying. So, Stephen, before anything else, before we do dive into that, the most important thing for me is like, do you feel that applying this and you getting enough one-on-one coaching and coaching in general that you can achieve your goal, which is to repair your marriage and save it from divorce? Because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if there's enough one-on-one coaching, but as it stands right now, it seems like the one-on-one coaching session per week is just not really enough for me.
Pause there just real quick. So,
Yeah.
Andrew, do you see what happened there? You asked about if we gave you the one-on-one coaching, do you feel like it would help you? So
Yes.
instead, we want to isolate the one-on-one coaching off to the side and ask about everything else. So
Okay.
we're like, you did the isolate aside from the one-on-one coaching. Or is there anything else that would stop you from moving forward, right? Like if we solve the one-on-one coaching. And then the tie down is like, okay, so aside from the one-on-one coaching, like we'll get that sorted in a second. But with everything else that we've gone through, the process, the team, how we're actually going to take you from struggling with A and B and C to succeeding with X and Y and Z. Do you feel that that can actually get you from the place where you're struggling with A and B and C to the place where you're getting X and Y and Z? Does that make sense? So like I'm putting the objection again to the side for a second. We'll
Yeah.
come back to it. And everything else that we've gone over. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Try that part again. So we're on
Okay.
T of CIT.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay. So Stephen, putting the one-on-one aspect of the coaching program off to the side for a second, with everything else that we've talked about here on this call and everything else on the coaching call, do you feel that this can help you to repair your marriage? Because that's really what's most important here.
Well, to be honest, no, because with the one-on-one coaching aside, that's what my concern is, right? Like I've been in programs before, and not for marriage or anything, but I've been in various types of programs with there's group coaching sessions, and it's just like I just feel as if I don't get enough attention. And also speaking on a group coaching call about very personal things is not an easy thing to do, but one-on-one with someone that I can trust, and they also remember and they know my circumstance, so I don't have to remind them of it. That's kind of, more what I'm going after.
Cool. Pause for a second. Andrew, are there deliverables that you would have gone over in the pitch that kind of speak to that?
Yeah, there are. I mean, they've got like it's Boxer, so it's voice notes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So throughout the entire program, you're sending voice notes to the head coach,
Mm-hmm.
and he's giving you voice notes back.
And that's one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that's actually an option that I have. I mean, so long as I can stay with one coach that I'm going to be doing voice notes back and forth for, because
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, as soon as I start diving into this, all these emotions are going to come up, and I'm just going to start thinking about our marriage and everything. I just need to be able to lay it on my coach, just to, I need constant communication. That's what I mean. I can't be left hanging.
No, absolutely. I mean, you've got one coach throughout the entire program. You'll never be switching coaches.
Okay.
Close that loop.
That's really
Don't
what
let
it was. Is
Don't
I
let
want to
his
make
brain
sure.
go off there, Andrew. Close that loop. Close
Okay,
that loop
okay.
and move him back to the close. Ask for it
Okay.
again.
So if that's the case, then do you feel that you've got enough personalized coaching so that you're not talking about personal things in front of other people, and that you're getting that attention throughout the entire week, and it's not just once per week? Like, do you feel that that's enough for you?
Yeah, I mean, once per week, for an hour to go over everything for check-in, and also being able to leave constant voice notes. Like if something pops in my mind, I'm like, oh man, I need to get that out. I need my coach to know this, because it's important that my coach knows what's going on with me, or else he can't help me. So if that's a thing that I have, and they're not going to be bothered that I'm just like, leaving, and so long as I can get a prompt response too.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely will. Okay, so see, I don't even know where to go from here.
Okay.
Got
So
a
you
little
just
cut
ask for the
attention.
close again.
Okay.
So I'll give you one little bit. You asked, do you feel like if you have that amount of one-on-one coaching, do you feel like that's enough? Remember, it's not necessarily about the one-on-one coaching. He's said if he has that, he feels like it's enough already. So just say, like, so with that in place, along with the group coaching, along with the process, the Voxer 3 times a week, that personalized bit, do you feel, I'll ask you again, that this can actually get you to the place where you can achieve A and B and C and solve X and Y and Z for yourself? Like you get back to that closing section, if that makes sense.
But
And
once
then
you
now
get
his answer is yes.
yes. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Do that again.
All right.
Just from right there, Andrew, ask for that close.
Okay. All right, Stephen. So, if that's giving you everything that you need, then, do you feel that implementing all of this here can actually get you from where you are now to actually, rekindling the spark in your marriage and repairing it and keeping yourself and the family together?
So long as I have that enough attention, and like the voice notes part, that is definitely changed my mind. So yes, so long as I'm getting that customized one-on-one attention, I can see this working.
Okay.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
Okay, great. Well, if that's the case, then I could go ahead and guide you through the steps to get you on board.
There you go.
Okay, I just need to think about it. No, I'm just joking. I wouldn't.
Good.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Thoughts. Start Steven first. How do you feel?
Well, I was coming from a frame of like I was thinking I'm a person like I feel nervous coming into it.
Mm,
And I feel I'm concerned that I'm going to come in, talk about all of these personal issues, and then feel cheapened if I'm not attended to. And that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, am I going to come in putting in a lot? In other words, not money. Am I going to put in like putting a lot of my own emotional effort into it and not be receiving the help I need back? Because that's kind of the most that's what would bother someone more so than the money, I think, is that they feel cheapened from not getting because they have to talk about super emotional issues, super personal stuff. They need to know that the other person on the other end is going to take it seriously and not just say, hey, I understand where you're coming from. We'll see each other next week. Like that's right.
Yep.
So
100%. 100%. Andrew, how do you feel?
I felt like I usually feel when I'm objection handling, like I don't know where to go from here. Because it's like I know basic word tracks. I've memorized word tracks, but at the same time, you're never going to get the exact response that you would get with those word tracks, or you're watching videos and stuff like that. So it's something I know that's like my Achilles heel. It's something
You're good.
what I got to work on.
The thing that will help you the most, in my opinion, just watching your callback and then watching you do that, is just clarifying more and just writing down the things that you hear. So, for example, something that I heard that we didn't really handle, but probably would help if we did, is he mentioned when he's joined coaching programs in the past. Right. It was like a group session. He didn't get much personalized help with things. So like we don't necessarily need to go into that. But if you work on that a little bit, then it may just shore up that close a little bit more. Little things like that. So I would just clarify more, ask more of what do you mean? How do you mean? What does that look like? Why is that important? Those sorts of things to understand what he's really focused on and why. And then just write down whatever he says there. Does that make sense? I think if you just do that, then you'll have a lot more clarity. And then just always remember, bring it back to the close. Like once you tie off a loop, once you handle a fear, once you handle an objection, you get them to reframe and see it a different way, come back to the close. So with all of that in mind, do you feel this can actually get you from A to Z, right? And then let him tell you no again if he wants to, or he'll tell you yes. So just always go back to that point. Just always wrap it back around, wrap it back around, wrap it back around. Sometimes just through pure persistence, people just say yes.
All right. Sounds good, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Good. All right. Easy stuff. Let's come back to this call then here. Come here, share.
Like a good amount of help and a good amount of, like, do you feel like he can fit in 5 or 10 minutes, enough advice for you to have enough to actually apply?
It could, but I don't know if I have enough time to sit on a group call to get my questions in, so at least not that often. So I got to think about it. Think about the setup, how you guys have it set up.
Yeah, time.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
But you feel like it can help you, right?
Yeah, I said that already. And you asked
like doing the work that it can.
Yeah. No, I think it could.
So,
I think it could. It's just the access part. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Alex, what I can do from here is you want to go ahead, go ahead and think about it. Perfect. That's fine. I can go ahead and reach back out to you, later this week to see how you're doing, see if you're ready to go ahead and get started. When would be a good time to reach back out to you?
Cool. Small shift on that if you want to, like for better, for worse. I think for the most part, like you're going to have to work some magic from here on if you want to save it, but just flip the frame. It's like, okay, sounds good. If you want to reach back out later this week to get moving forward, I'm not sure exactly when I can fit you in, but I've got my calendar handy if you've got yours, and we can set up some time to make sure that we've, got the time set aside. We can talk to each other, make sure I can kind of fit you in to the schedule. What time later this I would actually frame it not later this week. I'd say tomorrow. Like what time tomorrow do you want to reach back out? And should I set aside on my calendar if I can fit you in to get you rolling and talk about this? So like tomorrow, not later this week, tomorrow. Allow him to tell you if he wants longer to think about it for whatever reason, or he'll just say, yeah, tomorrow works. So you get that on the calendar. And then, by the way, then you go back into objection handling. So it's like a little pressure release. It's like, okay, we're going to go away. And then by the way, what was it specifically about that access that you're going to be going over in your mind between now and tomorrow?
Okay, got
Makes
it.
sense.
Got it.
So, like,
Yeah.
last resort, if you get somebody still wanting to push things off, yes, schedule a meeting, but a couple of key things you wanna keep with it. Number 1 is make sure that they're coming to you, not what time, later this week do you want me to reach back out to you. Does that make sense? Prospect comes to you. You're
Okay.
setting aside time on your calendar because you do have meetings day after day, hour
Yeah.
after hour. Like, your time is precious.
Okay.
And then go
Zoom
ahead and
call.
just frame it as, like, early, not later in the week, tomorrow, or even later today sometimes. Were you saying
Okay.
something? Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it was, you're mentioning, like, send them an invite, like Zoom,
Mhm.
okay, to have a Zoom call
Yeah,
and not a phone
100%.
call.
I mean, you can do a phone call, but it's more realistic to happen if it is another Zoom call,
Okay. Got it, got it.
even if it's just a 15-minute one on your calendar.
Sure. No, it would have to be a shorter one, right?
Yeah.
Because on this offer, like, they emphasize a lot on the follow-up game. Like, they're like,
Mm. Yeah,
follow up, a lot of
100%.
these guys, they close afterwards.
Yeah,
So that's part of it. Kind of want to be able to objection handle them where they give me a solid yes or a no on that call.
sure.
But then it's like, which of the two do I do? So
It's always both. So, go for what you can on the call, but then don't let your follow-up game slack off, right? I can't tell you how many times, like, I've been a prospect, and I haven't closed on the first call for good reasons, and then, like, even now, I've got a guy that I'm meeting with, I think later today, actually, or later this week, that's been following up with me for a couple of months now, and he just reached out, and I was like, "You know what? Yep, let's hop on a call, let's get it done." And then there's been plenty of calls that I've closed on the first call. So, it's not a game of this or that, it's a game of both, always.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, got
So do what you can on the call, work on your objection handling skills, last resort, depressurize the situation, and schedule the call, and then come back into objection handling. And then, if you need to actually use the follow-up, then you got one.
All right, all right. Sounds good, man. Thanks.
Cool. All right. Let's do this. Anybody else want to go over one of their calls? Or should I keep bothering Andrew on his call?
Might let's see. Maybe I'll have something. Just let me check.
Cool. Andrew, overall, you did a good job. You're making progress. That's important.
Say what?
You're making progress. That's important. You're doing a
Man,
good job.
I appreciate the help, man. I sometimes feel like I'm not, but we're there. We're going.
It takes work. Just more practice reps. I'm working on the calendar, and hopefully this is going to be like one of the last changes for a while to the calendar. Once we get it set, I don't want to change it. We're going to be having Saturday morning sparring sessions, which is basically just role play. So Saturday mornings, we're just going to get together in a room and role play, work on specific things. I'll kind of talk about what we're going to work on each week. And then you show up like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Everybody hops on and we just popcorn objection handle, popcorn discovery,
I love that.
like you would on a sales meeting. So we get in some reps every Saturday morning.
Love that.
That'll be helpful.
Yeah.
This is a drive video. It's
a
on
drive video,
Yeah.
like the prospect was in the car.
Google,
or-
Google. No. It's on Google Drive.
Oh, I see. That's fine.
So I can still put that here.
Yeah, as long as I have access.
I just put it in the chat.
Awesome. Let me grab it here.
So this was a first call that I had. It closed on the second call with the sales manager. This was at AI Acquisition.
Okay.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing. This was my first closing gig.
Yeah.
I was winging the whole thing.
Okay.
I was just winging it.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Scott, this is the offer that I'm going to see if I can connect you to, by the way. So you'll get to see what it
I
is.
do.
Dana,
How
can
are
you
you?
hear me?
I can.
Great. Great to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
So whereabouts are you calling from?
Awesome. I'm just going to skip here to the end. Let's see what happens.
Just
And
so
I
shocked.
recognize I can see really quickly the monetary investment.
Let me close this here. Yeah. So, what time is good for you? And then I'll do the calculations in terms of time zone. Oh, and what time zone is it? Because Australia has 3 different.
Savings, but we don't. So we're Brisbane, Eastern. Yes.
So 9:19. So let's do. Okay, so let me know when would you and your husband, that
Yeah.
100% both be available. Maybe the discovery process. Do you think that would be good to go
Can you-
over? Or?
Well,
not
it
just
looks like
tips.
this is a partner objection, is that right? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
it's a partner objection. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really think of it as an objection because at the beginning of the call, she said that, I mean, he's planning to come on for our second call, right?
Ah,
Like, yeah. So I kind of
okay.
looked at it like, well, they make decisions together. So
Yeah,
do
okay.
you always just look at it as an objection or?
Yeah. I always look for, like, what is the thing that stopped the deal from closing right at the very end of the call, and then work my way
Okay.
backwards, and that is what stopped the deal from closing at the end of this call.
Yeah. So
Give
that's
me
basically partner objection. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just see how you handle it, because like,
Tuesday. I
I've
do have a
pushed it to a
big
second
day
call
on
myself
Monday.
plenty of times.
I could probably
I don't
get him
think
to
I
start
did
going
have
over stuff
that one.
today. Yeah, Tuesday, let's try you. What time would it be there?
Let's
It'll
see,
be your
like,
Monday.
if we talked
Okay.
about it at
It'll be
all.
3 a.m. for me, so
Nope.
that's not going to work.
Da, da,
Yeah, because if
da.
you can do 8 a.m. on Tuesday and your husband's going to be available as well.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to have to book it for 5 p.m. Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Because they're just
And I
switched on.
recognize I can see really quickly the monetary investment involved in not doing this all myself and buying each individual thing, having no idea what I'm doing. So that's my job now with this
Now,
person,
what is your husband's name?
Andrew or Andy.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Andrew's
good.
great.
So just your email address, right? I don't
Oh,
have
his
okay.
yes. He owns somebody's
Yeah.
up in the office.
Postpone slightly because he wants to go over material. I'm totally willing to do that.
Oh wait, no, that's
But,
not the one. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So send the
And the video
Today,
materials.
about 4 or 5 hours a night. So he'll often subliminally hear me watching something on Instagram or something like that. So he might have taken it in by osmosis, but I don't know.
All right. So open up your email. Just check the email that I just sent you.
It's a little quiet.
So it contains all of the material. It says AI
Yep.
acquisition material, please review. So I'll just kind of
Yep.
walk you through it here. So these are the deliverables for like when DIY is do it yourself, DWY done with you, done for you. And then if
Yep.
you open that document, you'll be able to see all of the tools and exactly what it provides are in there in detail. Then the slide deck that I just showed you, the presentation, terms and conditions, the payment plans.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm offering a deal on that for the same value, but the payment plans
second
do go
meeting.
quite up.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
the due diligence material, and then all of these videos are probably the ones that you watched. And what to expect working with us B2B. That's probably a great. So
Yep.
what
Yep.
you'll actually be doing, etc. And I can't get your SMS because I guess it's a long distance, so it won't send from here. What I'll do is I'll.
WhatsApp?
Yeah, that's what I was opening up my phone to WhatsApp at exactly the same time. Okay, I like to say great minds think alike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, overall, you got good energy, and I think that's really what matters most if you're gonna push it to a second call. Like, good energy, maybe seed some things about, questions that your husband might have and talk through those a little bit. What do you feel his biggest concern is gonna be for something like this? What do you feel is the biggest reason that he would want to do something like this? Just kinda talk through the conversation to prep her a bit and get her in the headspace of, like, "I'm doing this, I just need to get him on board with me," if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah? So
Yeah.
it's just framing the conversation. You have the perfect energy for it, like, your tonality, the way that you're communicating, the words you're using are all great, but that's just small shift if you are gonna push to a second call. You really wanna, like, prep them to be in the right mindset when they leave this
Yeah.
call, because who knows what's gonna happen in their life between now and that next call. So, like, my goal is to
Yeah.
always prep their headspace to be in the right space as soon as we leave this call, and make that last until the next call. Cool. So let's start from the beginning.
Hobby farm up in the mountains about an hour north of Brisbane.
Okay, great. So I'm Canadian. I'm in Medellin, Colombia right now.
Nice.
Down here. Yeah. So do you have the full 45 minutes?
Yes, absolutely. It's Sunday morning. I'm free.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Saturday night for me. So, all right. So how can I help you?
So I've watched and read everything that's been set through. As I said to you, I think in our texts, I have no idea about the complexities, let's say, of the AI side of things. I use it a little bit in my own business at the moment, really just surface level stuff.
Small thing, if you're gonna use the "How can I help?" opening question, I would introduce yourself first. I'd say, "Do you have the full 45 minutes or any time pressures on your end in the meantime?" "No time pressures, I'm good to go." "Okay, fantastic. You ready to jump in?" "Yes, I'm ready to jump in." "All right, well, just to formally introduce myself, my name is Steven. I'm an advisor here at AI Acquisition. We help blah, 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 blah." And then you can just go straight into "How can I help?" if you'd like, or you can frame, like, what it is exactly that your company does, what this call is about. If you're gonna do a frame, you can do it there, or you can just go straight into "How can I help?" But I would just introduce yourself, like, formally, if you will, first.
Yeah. Mhm.
Part of that is because "How can I help?" is a very low pressure, low, social currency way to get into the conversation, which means that the conversation can get a little too friendly. So like she's
Yeah.
already smiling, she's already very friendly, you're already smiling, you're already very friendly. So a little bit of like formal energy, I think, would also help to make sure that this doesn't go complete friend zone too quickly at
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, she's friend zoning me.
But my husband and I used to, before the company that we have now, we both used to work
It's good to be friendly, but you got to be careful of getting too friendly.
for Telstra, which
Well,
is the biggest tech sort of mobile media company. We worked in the business enablement side of things years ago, where when the internet and software as a service and all that sort of thing was very new, our roles were going into companies to work out what their needs were in that respect, and then sell into them the products that were a part of the suite of things that we had to offer. I was always on the sales side of it. I'm not technical at all. My husband's a network engineer, so he was always both. He was very lucky and very successful because he could do both. So we
Red flag there, big time. If she's on the call and her husband isn't, I know her husband's going to have a million questions about this.
Yeah,
currently work in an industry. I don't know how much you know about Australia. We run a nicely successful company where we do disability support services into people's homes as a part of a government-run scheme. I work in the reporting side of that. So my side of the business does all of the collecting all of the clinical, health professional and specialist reports. So when people have their funding reviewed by the government body, whether they need more or less funding and things like that. So I use AI a little bit for like note taking in meetings, report writing that used to take me 5 hours. I can feed documents in and it spits out reports for me that I used to have to physically write and that sort of thing. But we're just dissatisfied with the space at the moment. It's quite a negative space to work in. We don't feel like it really aligns with our values as people anymore. We feel like throwing money at those sorts.
I would immediately just start interjecting there because she's kind of been monologuing for a bit and she's starting to get into some stuff. I'd just say, what do you mean? Right? What does that look like? How does that show up? That sort of question.
Of people that are in desperate need like that can definitely enable people sometimes, but the way that it's set up here in Australia, we feel like it actually hinders people from moving outside of themselves and achieving real goals. It's very bureaucratic and just not a space that we want to be in forever. So I've been on the verge of I was very much on the verge of doing something e-commerce before.
Why not? Why don't you want to be in that space forever?
Or Jordan's video came up in my Instagram feed. And I was like, I feel like from our previous experience that we worked in, this potentially sat more in line with us. Our goals and dreams are probably a little bit different from other people's. We want to be able to just buy more land, be where we are, expand our beautiful, simple, self-sustained life rather than buy mansions and yachts and all that sort of thing. But we do love to travel. So we love coming home to simple life, but we do like to travel and explore as well. So that's where I'm coming from in terms of sort of exploring this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just noticing, what is it about the freedom that you get, which is so enticing?
I think for me,
Decent. Notice what she talked more about just now. In that big old monologue, did she talk more about what she's unhappy with currently or what she would like to achieve in the future?
It's what she would like to achieve in the future. That's what I noticed her talking about the most.
She
Oh,
talked
no,
about
that's not
the end.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3/4 of that was talking about how basically their current job is going to shit
Exactly.
and that she doesn't see a future in it. Oh, interesting. And then she talked about what she sees in the future as she wants, right?
Exactly.
What she wants. She's like future pacing herself right now.
So in general, I'm going to try to focus on what the person is focused on first before moving to something else. So she's mostly in that whole monologue, you said 3/4 focused on the big old boulder that's on her back, basically, that she's carrying through life. It's like, I'm not happy with this. We don't want to stay in this industry forever. We're having these problems, etc. I'm going to focus on that first. And I'm just going to ask, okay, so you said a bunch of stuff there. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing, how it's working, how it's not working. Kind of walk me through that a bit. And like I said, as she's saying it, I probably would have just gone ahead and probed and just started discovery right there instead of letting her monologue like that. And then you're going to get more into a structure there rather than just monologuing and now having to take notes on her monologue and then go back through point by point or just forget it.
I would forget it.
Yeah, exactly. So I would, as she's monologuing here, just interject with little things and then ask her to continue. Interject, probe, clarify, ask her to continue. Interject, probe, clarify, ask her to continue. Does that make sense? You want me to show you?
Sure.
Okay, let me go back.
Tech sort of mode. As I said to you, I think in our texts, I have no idea about. I've watched and read everything that's been set through. As I said.
Okay, what'd you think of it? Oh, I like those, blah, blah, blah. Do this for me, Steven. You role play her whenever I ask like a question, just
Yeah.
reply as you think she would. So she just said, I watched through all the videos, everything. Oh, what'd you think of it? Didn't bore you to death,
Okay.
did it?
Yeah. I was watching through all the videos and I took a look at, the first video and the second video. I found it kind of
Okay.
interesting.
Must not have been too boring. At least got through a couple.
Yeah. I
Cool.
got through quite a few of them.
All
And
right. And then I'd say continue.
I think in
Right.
our texts, I have no idea about the complexities, let's say, of the AI side of things. I use it a little bit in my own business at the moment, really just surface level stuff.
Okay. How are you using it in the business right now? Yep, exactly.
And
Keep going.
But my husband and I used to, before the company that we have now, we both used to work for Telstra, which is the biggest tech sort of mobile media company. We worked in the business enablement side of things years ago, where when the internet and software as a service and all that sort of thing was very new, our roles were going into companies to work out what their needs were in that respect, and then sell into them the products that were a part of the suite of things that we
So you're one of those smart people.
had to offer. I was always on the sales side of it.
Cool.
I'm not technical at all. My husband's a network engineer, so he was always both. He was very lucky and very successful because he could do both.
oh boy, so he's going to be
Where's
poking
husband?
holes in all of this, isn't he?
Yeah. I'd be like, I bet he'd have a ton of questions about something like this. Where is he? Is he coming on the call today? No, he's not. Blah, blah, blah.
So we currently work in an industry. I don't know how much you know about Australia. We run a nicely successful company where we do disability support services into people's homes as a part of a government-run scheme. I work in the reporting side of that. So my side of the business does all of the collecting all of the clinical, health professional and specialist reports. So when people
All
have
of
their
this is
funding
just
reviewed
like
by the
stuff I
government
don't
body,
particularly
whether they
care
need
about.
more or less funding and things like that. So I
Okay.
use AI a little bit
All
for
right.
that,
So,
taking in
all right. So with everything that you're doing right now, how do you see it? How do you see it working out for you in the future, staying in this position with you and your husband?
Good, but I would allow her to keep going because, like,
Oh,
inevitably she's
okay.
going to talk about something that she likes or doesn't like. So I want to
Yeah.
wait until we get there.
meetings, report writing that used to take me 5 hours. I can feed documents in and it spits out reports for me that I used to have to physically write and that sort of thing. But we're just dissatisfied with the space at the moment. It's quite
What do you mean?
a
What are you
negative space to work
dissatisfied?
in.
Yeah.
We
What are
don't
you
feel like
dissatisfied about?
it really aligns with our values as people anymore. We feel
What do you mean it doesn't align with your
What do you
values?
mean it doesn't align with your values?
Exactly. What values did you used to have that you felt like it did align with? What happened that got
What
them off?
happened along the way? At what point did it cross your moral boundaries or the boundaries of your own values?
Exactly. Where do you feel like it started to shift or change?
like throwing money at those sorts of people that are in desperate need like that can definitely enable people sometimes. But the way that it's set up here in Australia, we feel like it actually hinders people from moving outside of themselves and achieving real goals. It's very bureaucratic and just not a space that we want to be in forever.
Why not?
Why don't you
So I've
want
been
to?
on the
Well, she just said. Are there any other reasons why you don't want to be in it forever, or is it
Well,
just solely that?
I would say why not, but I'm going for why she internally doesn't want to be in a business that she feels like aids the hinderment of people. So like it's more so why she doesn't want to rather than externalizing it. She said she didn't want to be in the business because it hinders people, but why is that important to her? Does that make sense? Like what sort of effect does being in a business that you feel like hinders people actually have on you that is so strong that it makes you want to completely change your business and go into a completely different field? Or, look at different ways to do it and uproot the entire business that you have right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
you can assume and be like, "Oh, there's obvious reasons why people don't want to run a business that hurts people," but people still fucking do it, don't they?
All the time.
Exactly. So, why don't you want to?
Okay,
Make sense?
interesting.
All
Yeah.
right, let's keep going.
verge of I was very much on the verge of doing something e-commerce before Jordan's video came up in my Instagram feed. And I
Oh,
was
why
like,
didn't
I
you
feel
go
like from
through
our
with it?
Nice.
previous experience that we worked in, this potentially sat more in line with us. Our goals and dreams are probably a little bit different from other people's. Like we want to be able to just
I would ask why it's important to leverage their experience as opposed to just going with something completely new like e-commerce, just like further deepen that train of thought.
buy more land, be where we are, expand our beautiful, simple, self-sustained life rather than buy mansions and yachts and all that sort of thing. But we do love to travel. So
I would immediately probe in there and I would probably ask why not do the whole yachts thing? And then I would seed the idea that, well, there's more people than you may realize that we work with that have similar goals to you. And it's not just about the yachts, it's just about having your own little slice of paradise, you know?
We love coming
Make her feel like she's not alone.
home to simple
Okay.
life, but we do like to travel and explore as well. So that's where I'm coming from in terms of sort of exploring this opportunity.
Cool. Does that make sense, Stephen, now that we kind of run
Oh,
through it?
yeah.
See how much
Well-
gold you can get in just like the first 5 minutes.
And this is the thing, is that I had always considered it before I started closing, and especially Tristan had brought it up to me that I have to interrupt them. And you see, I thought that it was just impolite and it was going to come across as very rude and abrupt.
Nah. Curiosity.
Yeah, and so I wasn't doing it, because in a social situation, I normally let people talk until they finish, right?
Yeah.
But in this situation, is totally different, right? So this is like I think this is my second week or third week closing.
Yep.
Um,
Just getting used to it.
but yeah,
It's good, dude. You're doing good work even still. Let's
Yeah,
keep
and
going.
it's
Let's see what happens
about
next.
the freedom.
Just real quick, as like a little note on your sales process as you go throughout the call. Personally, I call this section of the call jabs. So Steven, you're familiar with boxing. You will get this a ton. I'm going to explain it for the rest of you guys. When you first start to fight somebody that you've never fought before, you want to understand how they react to things. So what oftentimes boxing trainers will teach you to do is just throw a couple jabs, not full jabs, not like full force, just testing the other person, seeing if they move back, if they move forward, if they slip, if they, if they go under, if they react. And so in these first few minutes of a call, I am throwing jabs very purposefully to just little probes, little clarifying, like just want to see how they react to things, how open they are. Are they willing to go deep immediately? Are they more, do they have a guard up, right? Are they wanting to move quickly? Are they wanting to move slowly? Are they more of an emotional person? Are they more of a logical person? I'm throwing these jabs, first 5 minutes, just little probes to see how they react. Once I get a decent gauge of how they're reacting, then that's when I move actually into like the logical discovery, because now I know what points to press on and which ones not to. Because for example, if you throw a jab and they just immediately like come back at you full force, it's like, whoa, okay, let's slow down a little bit. What's going on? Take a moment. But if you throw a jab and they just like completely go with it and they just open up about their life's problems, then you're probably going to treat the call a lot differently. Right? You're going to
Definitely.
keep them where you
Nice.
need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess jabbing works really well to find out with type A people too, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm throwing
because
jabs in the first 5 minutes or so before I start logical discovery. And then when I go into logical discovery, I know exactly how to do it that fits the person. So if they're like a type A alpha type person, they just want to get to the bottom line. They don't want a lot of questions. I'm going to ask very bottom line driven questions. I'm going to frame the questions that aren't bottom line driven as bottom line driven, right? I'm going to say things like, well, everybody knows that the big results that you get in life are determined by the very small actions that you take. So I guess what's happening right now that's actually causing you to X and Y and Z? Like you can still frame little things as big deals according to the person, but we won't go down that rabbit hole today.
Which is so
Well,
enticing.
let's keep going.
I think for me, I sort of I think you're what you would call self-made without being cliche. I left home with $80 in my pocket, and everything that I've achieved, I've done for myself. I don't think people understand how freeing that is, and not in a self-promoting way at all. It actually does something for your physical cells. I'm actually an exercise physiologist by trade. So, health and movement has always formed a part of things for me before I moved into running a company in this space. And again, being somebody involved in the health and movement side of things and then going into the reporting side of it has taken away from the human side of it. A lot of what I do for people, helping them with their funding around things for their disabilities, and that's what I often sit there going, this is something people used to do voluntarily and for free before they were government funded schemes. And sometimes I sit there and go, I would be loving to be giving my advice and consultancy in that space for free rather than at $100 an hour, which is the rate that is set for me by the government. So that's what that side of things means too for me. We're quite philanthropic in our approach to life. The way we set our business margins are always like, what can we do with this profit that will further promote that person's optimum life rather than how do we increase our profit margin? So we are a little bit different already in terms of our...
Did you guys see her body language just a little bit ago. I want to show you again. Just watch what she does.
People used to do voluntarily and for free before they were government funded schemes. And sometimes I sit there and go, I would be loving to be giving my advice and consultancy in that space for free rather than at $100 an hour, which is the rate that is set for me by the government. So that's what that side of things means too for me. Where
Yeah.
It may not be anything, but it may also be something.
Oh
That's
no,
something
that's
about it.
trying to soothe herself.
Potentially, yes.
Mm.
She's not happy with the rate that she has been forced to charge by the government.
quite philanthropic in our
Potentially.
approach to life. You know,
Maybe.
the way we set our business margins are always like, what can we do with this profit that will further promote that person's optimum life rather than how do we increase our profit margin? So we are a little bit different already in terms of our headspace and approach to, we know what we need to be happy, and we've never needed we don't know what we would do if we had
Very typical of Australians, by the way. If you ever have an Australian prospect, a lot of times Australians are just like not the most ambitious people, kind of like UK. Like UK, stereotypically, complainers, right? They don't want big change. They almost like demonize people who want to go and be entrepreneurial. Like, why can't you just be happy with what you got, right? Australians, similar thing. Like, we don't need a bunch of extra money. We don't need the yachts. We don't need the houses. And so sometimes that can be a driver in these calls, just to pay attention to.
too much money because we are really satisfied with each other and with our life, but we would like to expand the simple life for ourselves, buy more land, rescue more animals. We rescue miniature horses at the moment. So a lot of what I do now that's paid work,
Lots of charitable contribution type work.
I would like to be able to do
That's powerful.
for free.
Okay, I see. So this is something that you and your husband want to do together, right?
Yes. And I asked him if I could do this call on my own first today, because I'm the dreamer, risk taker, and he is a very integral part of that because he'll come in and poke holes in the real life risks and stuff like that. So I asked him if I could just do this on my own first today, and then if I can present it to him in a way that he understands, that means that I've understood the concept of what this is about as well.
Interesting dynamic there, right?
Yeah. It's like she's like, Steve, I'm gonna make it easy for you on this first call.
Yep. She
He
likes
wasn't as
that
bad
he
as she
pokes
made him
holes in
sound.
things. She likes that he's more analytical. She sees that as valuable. It sounds like she asked to be on this first call so that she can get a good understanding of things as well. She asked him to not be on it, to poke holes in it at first. He's more risk averse, more risk oriented, it sounds like, as well. So yeah, very interesting.
Well, what I will say is
lots of things that you can do with that information, but
if he's a more analytical
bit
person who likes to
complicated.
poke holes in things, or at least to find out if there's any leaks anywhere that he needs to patch before getting into it, I will definitely have to be the one that does that. Because what happens is that
Good. Very good, Stephen. I like that.
Explain a number of things to you, and you're gonna be able to see the vision. Seems like you're saying you're the visionary, and you're gonna be able to see the vision. But then transferring all of that information over to him, some information might get lost or it might be misinterpreted. So that's why it's always great for me to have both of you on the call. But no,
I would the way you framed it is good, but don't put it as like you relaying it to him might cause miscommunication or anything like that. I would more so say he's going to ask questions that you hadn't thought of, and you're probably going to ask questions that he hadn't thought of. And so then rather than us just like playing telephone over text and stuff for, weeks and months, and then, this just kind of gets pushed off in the distance. What do you think about him coming on a call with me as well, so that he can just get the direct answers from me, and we can make sure that if you do want to do this, that you're not held back longer than you'd like to be.
Yeah.
So it's more so about each party is going to ask questions the other one hadn't thought of. I just want to make sure that we get you the right answers without, having to waste your time. Because time is money.
What? This was actually a 3-call close.
Not surprised.
unless you're here now. So I want to give you an idea of
All right,
the business.
we'll go for like 1 more minute.
Sure.
No, I did notice in your answer, you said something about him working since he was 15 years old and you wanted to retire early.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So he, his father helped him and his brother set up a hardware store when they were younger. So he's always been very vocational. He's a very hands-on person. Like, we build and renovate everything ourselves that we have. We're very, very good at it. We're a very well-oiled machine when it comes to that side of things. And actually starting out in hardware was where he then got his kick into IT. So once they sold the hardware store, he then went and started in IT for a hardware chain. And from there got various qualifications through Cisco and all of that sort of thing. So but he just has always worked. He's got, 2 adult children. Again, like we now have no dependents. I don't have any children. I can't have children. My friends struggle to understand all the time and that I have on my hands. And I'm like, I only have time to do these things, to live, chill out by my pool, be with my animals. And I'm very available to all of you with your children whenever you need someone. But it's taken a long time his name's Andy. It's taken a long time for him, even once the kids moved out of our home, to unwind from that dependent mentality where I'm doing things because I have dependents. I feel himself without thinking twice. And, it might seem little, but just buying that tool that you've always wanted, or, not running it through 7 different checks and balances before you purchase, just impulsive buying here and there. So for me, I would like him to explore that further. I've never been stuck with that mentality. I'd like him to explore that further as well.
Yeah.
But I'd like him to not have to be on the tools working in the business that he's running at the moment. And I think, something like this where it's a couple of hours a day would be really nice. I don't think he's ever not going to work, to be honest. I think he's just going to be one of those people that will always need to be doing something.
Again, very interesting. She values the part of him that like pokes holes in things, but then also she sees how that can potentially hold him back in some ways. I would ask her about that. Like, what ways do you feel like that sort of mentality that he's had that has been helpful in some ways, do you feel has actually been hurtful in other ways? Or where do you feel like that's maybe held the business back, or him personally, or how might that show up in running a new business with you guys coming into something like AI acquisition? Little things like that. So she can start to kind of shift and lean more into the mentality of while that preclusion, I suppose, would be helpful in some ways, it's also hurtful in other ways, so that she can take that mindset back when she does talk to him and he does get into his poke holes and things mode, if you will, and she can help him through it a bit more. Little small things. It's cool. It's cool. Great call, Steven. Love it. Thanks for sharing, dude. Before I close up this meeting here, any questions you guys have before we bounce? Is this helpful?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I joined at the end there, but it was good.
Cool. All right. If you guys are all good, then I'm gonna bounce. I'm gonna get back to work. Anything you guys need, shoot me over a message, WhatsApp, school, and I'll see you on the outside. All right.
Cheers, Christian.
Cheers. Good to meet you, Scott. See you guys
Cheers,
soon.
mate. See you soon.